Welcome back to the Money and Wealth Show. I'm Sterling Fox. Our special guest this week is Victor Adair, who is talking to us about a few things, and not only about the way you approach the markets as a personal, private individual, now that you're no longer a broker and advising clients, but you describe the circumstances of today as a post-credit bubble collapse. Are we really doing a face plant on the sidewalk here? Are we really down and out? Is that what that means?
I don't think it feels that way today.
No, it doesn't.
Especially here in Vancouver, where real estate prices have, for instance, come back to higher than they were before we went into the mild recession that we had.
And the same here in Victoria too.
The attitudes, or maybe the markets that I look at, are more global than local. But I think from my view, okay, we strapped on a lot of credit around the world for the last generation or so, and increasingly so until we got right up to the break in 07, 08. And the governments then stepped in to try to keep things going, and they took on a lot of debt. And now the challenge, and let's say that Greece may have been the canary in the coal mine.
Right.
You get to a point where you've taken on so much debt that you don't even have the income to service the interest on that debt. So then what happens? Now, people like to take shots of the Greeks, so I mean, God bless them, wonderful people, but they're screwed. They will inevitably, it seems to me, have to default. They can't devalue the currency because they don't control it anymore.
That's right, it's the euro now.
So does it mean we're all going to be like them? No, there'll be different variations, of course, around and around. But if you stay with this idea that there has been way more money borrowed than's ever going to get paid back, then what happens? That means, let's say if I'm a purchaser or an owner of debt, I may be holding the old maid. I'm the guy that doesn't get paid back, and I don't want to be that guy. So I don't want to lend money to somebody who's not going to pay me back. And that's part of what happens in the post-bubble credit collapse. Lenders are less willing or able to lend.
And rising interest rates isn't going to help that scenario either, is it?
Even now we have the lowest interest rates in our lifetimes. But the other side of that, actually, is that borrowers are also less willing or able to borrow. And when we've had an economy that's been built on, fueled, let's call it, with credit, and now we're taking credit away, or credit is collapsing, then it becomes a different world. And if we've been used to the credit boost world, we're going to have a little difficulty trying to adapt to the new world. And that's putting it pretty politely.
Well, indeed, but I think there's a reluctance for people to handle the information that you've and others on this program
historically
insist on passing along, because it's frankly, Victor, it's not fun.
Oh well, exactly. So we're hooked on fun then.
Fun with credit, right? As long as you could use your card, you could go have fun.
Right.
So a lot of these pronouncements and forecasts and post-credit bubble corrections or collapses, I mean, this is just not fun information for people to hear. But do you sense that more and more of us are beginning to absorb the message that it's not going to get better because we want it to? It's only going to get better when there's essentially a global effort to make it better.
Short answer would be no. I don't think people are getting that at all. And they will continue to vote for government representatives that in effect tell them they don't have to experience that pain.
Okay, and we're about to see that probably in November in the United States, right?
Well, there's a movement, with the Tea Party or any other party that wants to take fiscal responsibility, as they call it. But I think that's just kind of rearranging the chairs on the Titanic, to use that tired metaphor. We were addicted to the credit. And, just in my personal life, I've had my financial ups and downs, and I'll tell you, you develop a level of spending. And then when your income isn't there to support it, you kind of keep spending at that same level for a while. And then, the repo man comes and puts the hook on the BMW, you start to
the party's
change.
over.
There you go.
That's right.
So,
So we're still creatures of habit. no matter how intellectually we may say, well, you know, we've really got to wind this down here. We've really got to reel our aspirations into something more realistic. But it's not any fun to do that, is it?
Well, I've told you that I've got 3/4 or so of my net worth is liquid savings. The balance of my net worth is in my trading accounts. That means I don't own things like real estate. I drive a 10-year-old car. I'm quite comfortable with that. I am Scottish by heritage, but I'm also very, I think, practical. And to me, the world as I see it unfolding, I'm well positioned in that to be that way.
Do you worry about cash? Do you worry about currencies, paper currencies, fiat money all over the world, governments printing them just as fast as those presses can go, eventually becoming worthless? You're talking $15 loaves of bread, that kind of stuff?
I absolutely, I know that story, and no, I think that everything is overpriced. And actually, in a way, the simple cliche would be cash is king. And then you got to say, well, what cash do you want to be in? I certainly don't want to be in euros.
Okay.
I don't want to be in British pounds. I'm not even sure I want to be, you know, with all of my wealth in any one currency. I think to be diversified a little bit internationally, and not only for the foreign exchange risk, but for the political risk of being trapped inside of one political jurisdiction where you're basically a pigeon to be plucked.
And the other option for people who are looking to be in that cash is king position is possibly gold.
Sure, yeah.
Is that to you, in your mind at least, equivalent to cash in terms of one's net worth?
Gold's a store of value. I think right here in July, it's probably oversubscribed. I think there's a risk of the price of gold falling from here. But I understand that gold is real money, and you know, I peddled gold going back in the 1970s. I've been around gold for a long, long time. I like gold, and there's a time and a place for it. As a trader, I think it's a little rich right now.
All right. Our special guest on the Money and Wealth Show this week is financial analyst, broadcaster, former colleague, Victor Adair is back with us this week, and we have more to come after this.
Good afternoon. My name is Larry Ray. I'm the President and CEO of Gold Ray Resources Corp., a company that trades on the TSX Venture Exchange and has the majority of its operations in China. We are currently developing a resource there with limited production at this time. Our goal is to increase this production up to about 1,200 to 1,500 tons per day. And to do that, we are negotiating with several Chinese companies, one of which will become our partner either directly into the company or into the project, which will allow us to move the project up to the desired tonnage. For further information, please visit our website at goldray.com or phone 604-531-9639.